One of my first ever great games that really kicked off my great career was a middle school tournament for traveling basketball in Durand. And we were facing against Durand. And I came in the fourth quarter. We were down by 15. And I was guarding this guy, and I was like, I know I can take this guy, coach. And I forced 9 jump balls in the fourth quarter, and we had a huge comeback win, and it catapulted us to a huge win on the road in Durand.
If I had to make a player comparison to Andrew, I would say he's comparable to Matthew Dellavedova. He competes nonstop. He's constantly harassing guys on defense and just kind of being an agitator defensively. He's giving 110% all the time. Just a kind of lunch pail type guy.
One of my greatest basketball achievements that not a lot of people know about is my River Falls Basketball Camp Championship. We battled some really tough opponents, some people that would go on to be NBA players, and me and Peyton Ogle were like Shaq and Kobe, but I was Shaq, of course, and we just dominated and ran right through the league and went on to get a big upset win in the finals, and that was probably one of the best basketball memories I've ever made. Another thing that made that run at the River Falls Basketball Championship so great is that some of the all-time NBA greats, I got to face against them and dominate them and teach them a lesson or two.
The statute of limitations up. I was terrified out there.
Were you really?
Yeah.
I think people look at him and think, oh, he's a white guy, slow guy.
He's a chubby white guy. He wore us out, man. You know, because he just, this muscle here, the one between his ears,
Yeah.
that was his best, you know, because he made the three-pointers and he had assists and rebounded, steals. He was always at the right place at the right time on the court. You know, one of the great players, I had the opportunity to play against.
When you look across the board, not just scoring, check his assists, check his rebounds, he's probably ahead of Jordan.
Oh, my God!
There were times when he struggled, but when the moments mattered most and he was called upon to deliver, he rarely, if ever, let us down.
When I first knew he was going to be great was way back when he was a freshman in high school and I was coaching the C team. I don't know what it was, but anytime he got in the game, he'd hit a corner three. And those corner threes are so valuable in today's game. And from that early stages, his freshman year, I knew right then and there he was a special guy. He'd come in and knock down every single corner three that he took, and he'd darn near hit the ceiling every time he shot.
The Falcon Shootout was one of my greatest tournaments that I ever played in. The first great game that I played was we're trying to just extend the tournament, make it to the next day. We had to win, and we were facing Hayward. I was sitting on the bench. We were down by 4 with just under a minute left, and Coach Brady DeGrosse called a timeout, and he said, "Andrew, get in there." And everybody's looking like, whew, it was a good call. Bringing in one of the best players in the nation, lead his team to a victory. And he drew up the play. I was running around the baseline, taking 3 screens, and Ivan was supposed to get me the ball. So we go out there. I'm thinking, should I toy with him a little, or should I just make this shot and get us back in the game? I thought about it, and I went in there, went around the 2 screens. Ivan perfect pass. I was like, Ivan could use another assist. So I put it in. Down 1. We go back on defense. We went through a long, grueling possession. Because there's no shot clock, so they're just trying to run down the clock. We didn't want to foul because they had some great free throw shooters out there. So Ivan stepped in front of a pass finally with about 20 seconds to play. I knew just where to go, left corner. Ivan was ready with a great pass. Another easy money. I knew the shot was going in right when it came out of my hands. I was probably all the way back on defense by the time it went in. And we went on, extended the tournament, made it to the next day, which really set up for one of my greatest games I ever played. The Somerset game on the second day of the Falcon shootout is, for everyone that saw it, widely considers it my best game of my career, by far. I went out there, came off the bench, hitting 3 after 3, college range 3s too, because we're playing at UWRF, and the crowd, I think I was getting booed by the other fans. They just couldn't handle to see their team get picked apart on defense. I had 5 for 5 from the arc, didn't miss a shot from the field, did miss one free throw, but I also made another. 16 points. Just a dominant showing. Got us a big win against a conference opponent. We won by quite a bit, probably 20.
Unbelievable. Like I said, he's an unbelievable player. He's an unbelievable person. We got the highlights right here to back it up. You know, he could do everything. And like I've said before, we have the film here to prove it, and it looks better than how I remember it. It looks better than me watching it in person.
One thing everyone needs to know about Andrew Harrington is he had the greatest left-hand floater anyone had seen in the gym. And that's the biggest secret about Andrew Harrington is his floater's probably the best out there, but sometimes he wasn't able to showcase it. And I mean, that's probably my biggest regret is not letting him showcase that floater. It's deadly. I lost to him multiple times. I just could never beat it. You could get off the glass, you could float it right over the hand, nothing but net. You could always just find a way to get that floater off, and it's something that really got on my nerves because I couldn't stop it. And I considered myself a decent defender, and I had more length than him, and he found a way to get it over me off the glass, every which way, sometimes over the backboard. There was one time in practice I was guarding him one-on-one, and he bounced it off the top of the backboard. Went over, hit the top backboard, and rolled in. He just found a way. And his legacy will live on for a very long time at Ellsworth High School. I mean, he has some giant shoes to fill, and we're going to miss him. And yeah, he was a difference maker in the program. It's definitely a stepping stone on what we want to be in the future. We owe a lot of credit to Andrew Harrington.
Some of Andrew's strengths would be his competitiveness. He wants to win every single drill. He's a team first player. He's willing to do anything for the team to make us successful. And lastly, he's got to be his floater, his world famous best floater in the game.
Everybody knows that I have a great high arcing 3 and one of the best floaters in the game, if not the best. But one move that I really like to use is the between the legs post move. The reason I haven't broken out the between the legs post move in a game is because it's really dominant, and I think that I should get it into the right person's hands, because once one person starts using it, it could really spread. And I'd like for Ellsworth to be the first team to dominate using it. So if anybody wanted to learn it, just give me the call. I'll show up to the gym.
Fierce competitor. I mean, you're not going to find one as fierce as Andrew. He'll lay it all out on line for the team. He will outwork everyone. He'll find ways to be smarter than everyone. But the story that comes to mind was that sophomore year again. He forgot his shoes. Someone may have stole them, I don't know. But anyways, once we got to Durand, he didn't have his shoes. So we're like, might not be able to play. JV might have to go without him, which was going to be tough. But decided to grind through it. He wore his street shoes, and I believe he had many big shots that game. I don't know a total off my head. He was a very big difference maker in that game, in a very hard fought JV game, which they pressed, and I'm pretty sure he had to break it by himself. But even with his street shoes were not in great condition, but he fought through it anyways and produced a heck of a game. And that just goes to show the kind of fierce competitor Andrew Harrington was. I'm gonna miss him. He was one of my best teammates, favorite teammates. Always there, smart guy, uplifting. I'm gonna really miss his fierce competitiveness.
That Durand game was a very special game for me. We had problems all year with people trying to break into our locker room to steal memorabilia from me to sell on eBay or wherever. But that game, when they got a hold of my shoes, was terrible. The coaches, the trainers, they were all saying, you just can't go out there, risk an injury in a non-conference game. But I was like, I'm going out there. And I found a pair of street shoes that I wore on the bus, not in great shape, but I wore them out there anyways, and battled, hit some great shots. And when I got off the court for halftime, I was picking nails out of my feet. My socks were drenched in blood. But I came back out there and stuck with it and kept hitting big shots.
The greatest game I saw Andrew play was his junior year in 2019 against Amory. All I remember was him just knocking down every single shot. I think he came out and splashed in 2 of his famous corner threes, and then banked a free throw. So, when you're banking in free throws, it's your night, and everything was just falling for him. Diving for loose balls, getting offensive rebounds, getting steals. He was doing everything that night.
My sophomore year, we were in Amory. He was on JV. He single-handedly carried the JV team to a win that night. I believe he shot 100% from the field. I believe he hit 3 threes. Couple free throws, nothing but net. And all I could think of is, why is he coming off the bench? Some may argue he's 6th man of the year, but I always thought he deserved that starting spot.
Wow. Yeah, like I said, that was his greatest game ever. And it looks even better on film. Rewatching it, he looks even better than I remember. He was an unbelievable player, and we're gonna miss having him.
That game against Amory, I really felt like I just couldn't miss out there.
Andrew's weaknesses, he didn't have a whole lot. He was a complete player. If I had to say something, I'd say his size. I guess he could have been a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger, but that's everybody. And then I have to say his sports teams. Your favorite teams are the Knicks and Yankees and Syracuse. I mean, That's a glaring weakness right there.
One of my main off-the-court talents has always been my elite NBA sketches. Yeah, some people, they're so good that some people say that my NBA sketches look more like the NBA players than the actual NBA players do.
One of Andrew's drawings. Don't give me any clues yet. Chris Paul. No? Giannis. No? Chris Middleton. No? I don't know who. Who is it? James Harden? This guy doesn't even have a beard. This can't be James Harden.
I've been known to have the ability to take moves from all-time great players and turn them into my own moves and then later use them against them. That's kind of just been one of the main weapons that I've had in my arsenal.
Part of what made Andrew such a special basketball player was he was able to steal from some of the greats. He stole from Steve Nash with his dribble around move underneath the basket where he comes out the other side. He stole from Larry Bird with his trajectory of his shot. And then he stole his floater from Tony Parker, and he was really good at incorporating all the greats into his game. Unlike a lot of the greats, you're not going to find a teammate that says a bad thing about Andrew, and that's what really makes him special. You watch the Jordan documentary, the Lance Armstrong documentary, and they all have different demons, different people who have something bad to say about him, but you're not going to find a teammate, a person that's going to say one bad thing about Andrew, and I think that's what made him so special. That's what made him a great player, a great teammate.
I always like to consider Andy and my bond to be a very strong one. My junior year and his senior year, we were partners and in a group with Shane Lang for majority of drills that included 2 to 3 people. We had this shooting drill that year, and you had to make 10 threes from each spot, and it was a big competition. And it was usually Shane, me, and Andy. And, I consider myself a good shooter. Shane's a good shooter. Andrew's a fantastic shooter, but for some reason we could never win. But Andrew found a way a couple times. I don't know how to describe it, but he would find a groove and get in such a rhythm that he'd completely carry us. There was times he hit our first 10 threes, and it was crazy. He knew it right off his hand. He'd call it, he'd shoot it, he'd say, deep, short, in. The crazy thing about Andy is, I don't know if he's ever hit rim. He either swishes it or airballs. People have mixed feelings about if that's good or bad, but the dude has a strap. And he got Shane and I out a lot of running that year in that drill for helping us win. So I just want to say thank you. Thank you for conserving my legs in practice, and you were huge that year. Got me out of a lot of running, and I am forever grateful.
As a freshman on the Ellsworth team, coming into the JV with 2 other of my friends, not knowing some people, but just being kind of new to the old system, Andrew really took us 3 under his wing and made it fun at practice, and bus rides and everything with him was just fun. He always was making jokes and coming up with just funny, stupid memes. And I remember going to Chipotle one time with him, and he took down 2 of these burritos, and it was the sloppiest thing I've ever seen in my life. But the determination in his face really showed something to me that this guy really wants it. So I kind of took that from him is if you want something, you got to go get it. And he really drove that home with me. And there's games, Osceola, I believe, where he had a chance to shoot a three-pointer, but he did his infamous pump fake floater. And when that ball was in the air, I had no doubt in my mind that it was going in because it was it was perfect. But we kept going and just didn't make it. And we all thought, you know what, he might be sad, but no. He said he was going to get it the next game. He never did get it, but the determination that kid had really hit home to me. He was quite the guy, always making jokes. I'll never forget him. I'll take some of his jokes the rest of my life. Wow, he was really good.
He said I missed a floater? That's bullshit. I ain't ever missed a floater. Check the tape. Best floater in the game.
My favorite memories of Andrew will always be in practice. Just putting a smile on my face, putting a smile on his teammates' faces, challenging everybody to one-on-one, to dribble knockout, and just brightening every single practice that he was in, and competing every single day. Those are the things that I'll remember about Andrew in basketball.
I think one of the main things that I've done for Ellsworth basketball program is I've taught a lot of players that it's okay to have fun at practice when you're playing ball, but I also am out there to bite your head off and eat you alive in the paint, and I'm not going to mess around when it comes to playing time.